the Shazamily in the first film, all of them were padded to hell. Then you come back in the second film and they all just look like normal.
I would argue
normal people.
The only one suit who wasn't padded was probably DJ Catrona, who played Eugene. Older.
I wish I could have seen his take on Superman.
I would have liked to have seen that movie. Yeah. That would have been a fun movie to watch because it would have changed the game had that movie been released. Things would be very, very different as far as the comic book scene goes. That movie was fucking wild. Like I don't know if I know Lance knows. I don't know if any of you guys know about the whole plot line of Justice League Mortal because some fucking shit goes down in that movie.
Nope. Yeah. No, I've heard about it, but I don't know that much about it.
So, oh man, this is a lot. So essentially, what happens is it's kind of got a little bit of Tower Babel, a little bit of Crisis. A couple things happen. You know, kind of opens up on the world. Like every hero's fucking, you know, kind of doing their own thing.
What the hell was that?
That was a sneeze.
I literally was like, "What the fuck did I just hear?"
Sorry.
But
it was the face for me. What the hell?
Sorry.
Basically, what it boils down to is Batman is in charge of the OMAC system. Maxwell Lord gets in charge of the OMAC system and takes control over everyone by putting nanites in Big Belly Burger. And in order to yeah, dude, it's a fucking wild plot. I'm serious. Like, look up the plot of Justice League Mortal. You will you'll go wide eyed and be like, what the fuck? There's a fight between Wonder Woman and Superman that happens. There's both Barry Allen and Wally West. Barry Allen actually it gets to the point where Maxwell Lord actually transfers his entire consciousness into Barry Allen, and in order to stop everything once and for all, Barry Allen has to sacrifice himself. So he does the Crisis on Infinite Earths fucking run, where he runs around the world to eradicate Maxwell Lord. He tells Iris, "I love you," and fucking sacrifices himself. The movie opens up with a funeral, and everyone is decked out in black suits. Like Superman's there, Wonder Woman's there, Wally's there. Batman's not there, and it's like a misdirect. Like, people think the fucking funeral is for Batman, but then at the end of the movie, you find out that Batman's not there because he feels an immense amount of guilt for what happens, and feels like the Flash died because of him. It's kind of it takes a lot of cues from Tower of Babel because Maxwell Lord and Talia al Ghul are kind of like the antagonists of it all, but they all like. There's some other things going on with the OMAC system. It's a fucking wild movie, and it's only something George Miller could have absolutely pulled off. But I'm telling you guys, like, if you get the chance, just Google the plot of George Miller's Justice League Mortal. You will fucking be mind blown at how wild the movie was.
That sounds good,
dude. It would have been fucking great.
Because I like they supposed to lead to a spin-off Flash film where Wally was taking over as the Flash.
The movie ends with Wally assuming the mantle of the Flash.
Yeah.
And the idea was like, this would set the foundation for the universe, and every character would then get their own movie.
That's cool.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds great. I'm mad it didn't happen. Because like you said, like DJ Catrona, I would have loved to have seen, like, people would have been mad, but I mean, like, come on, we've had an Asian Clark Kent and nobody knew it.
Yeah, there's pictures of him in a test suit for Superman. There's pictures of Hugh Keysburn as a mold of Martian Manhunter. There's Jay Baruchel was going to be Maxwell Lord. He's talked about this movie. Like, he's talked about it openly. And it was around the time the Snyder Cut came out, because Jay Baruchel, like, rarely ever talks about superhero movies, but he was like, oh my God, the Snyder Cut is the fucking shit. It reminds me a lot of the ways of like what we were going to do with Justice League Mortal. Like, and he kind of goes on a tangent about what happened with his version of Maxwell Lord. And I'm like, well, damn, there's the version of Maxwell Lord that I want to see, because I like Pedro. I'm not too hot on what Sean Gunn's doing based on that bit of Peacemaker. What they were cooking with George Miller and fucking Jay Baruchel and that version of Maxwell Lord, fucking insane.
Wait, he was gonna be Max? Oh my God!
Yep, 2008.
Yeah, Hiccup. Hiccup?
Yeah.
Well, that's crazy.
Armie Hammer was supposed to be Batman. DJ Catrona was Superman. Megan Gale was Wonder Woman. Hugh Keysburn was Martian Manhunter.
Adam Brody was Barry Allen.
Adam Brody was Barry Allen, and Antoine Yelchin was Wally West. And I think I forget the actor's name. Something Cabrera was supposed to be Aquaman.
Santiago
Cabrera. There we go. And then
Common was
was Jon Stewart.
Why is Walter Emmanuel Jones and Austin St. John in this cast list?
What?
Who are they gonna be?
Why they
Yeah,
trying to
dude,
cast the Power Rangers?
This movie
Yes.
is fucking wild, bro. I'm
Who
telling you.
are they gonna be? Is Tosh asleep?
No. Probably.
No.
I'm surprised you didn't react to the two names I just said.
I'm just sitting here listening.
I really want to know who are they gonna play. Like, I have to know.
I forget.
Oh, I would have.
All
We could have had Kid Flash and the Flash in a movie together.
Yeah.
That would have been sick.
It sounds kind of similar to what they're attempting to do now, right? Where they're trying to start a universe that's already established. It's already in motion, and we don't know the execution of that yet. How it's going to be done.
After that happened and they shelved Justice League, there were still attempts to get a Justice League movie made.
Right.
Because the idea was like once Christopher Nolan finished up his trilogy, they were going to go whole hog on a full-on DC universe.
Right.
And Green Lantern was like an attempt at like opening up a universe, and that fell flat. Then Man of Steel happened, and Man of Steel was successful, so they decided to build a universe out of Man of Steel.
Right.
Which then in turn led Zack Snyder to be the architect of what was to come. Not necessarily in charge of DC films like a bunch of other people think he was. But yeah, he was essentially like the architect of like the overall story that they were going to tell. And the thing is like he was just approaching it from like a standard like movie making, like, you know, I can get 3 to 5 movies out of this, tell my story, and then they can fucking reboot and do whatever they want.
Right.
Which to me feels pretty apt. Like that's something they do in comics all the time too.
Yeah.
You know, I think the idea there was to not be like Marvel Studios, even though Warner Brothers underhandedly kind of went, yeah, we don't want you to be like Marvel Studios, but we want you to be like Marvel Studios. And it's like, you can't have it both ways.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen a lot of people say like, oh, Zack Snyder wasn't the right guy for the job. And I'm just like, that's such a bullshit argument, because like he came in at the request of Christopher Nolan to make a fucking Superman movie. It's not like he was like, hey, pick me, I want to be the guy to build your fucking universe. It was literally handed to him. He was just like, you know, what would you do next? And he was like, well, what if Superman fought Batman? And then the rest is collectively history.
Right.
So
go ahead, Claudia.
I know that like Zach was like brainstorming the universe, but I know he wasn't like in charge of like how many other people have said online, oh, you know, he was in charge of DC. He was not. But I will say this though, I did cry when Superman died again at the end of Batman vs Superman. I did cry. So
it was just a thing you weren't expecting to like. You weren't expecting it to happen in that film, but again,
he had the balls to do it.
Yeah, he had the balls. He had the balls to do it. He had his own input in, but everybody's saying like, "Oh, he didn't know how to write these characters. He didn't write these characters." And if you want to go even further into that, these are based on post-crisis comics, which were indeed a tad darker. They were a tad, and nothing is wrong with that storytelling aspect. What happened after is studio interference. And I've said this once, I'll say it time and time again. If they gave Zack Snyder the freedom, if they had learned their lesson sooner, and they gave Zack Snyder, and not just Zack, all the other directors, since it was nobody really overseeing it except for studio heads, if they gave the directors the freedom that they're giving the other directors, like for the first Shazam film, or James Wan for Aquaman, if they gave them that creative freedom, I feel as if, and they didn't interfere with those films, they would have been received better.
Mm-hmm.
And we wouldn't have needed all the Ultimate Editions. I've never like Warner Brothers. You didn't find an issue when we needed Ultimate Edition Blu-rays and Ultimate Edition digital copies. Like that should have been a huge red flag. Like you shouldn't need that. That should just be something that you want to do. But we needed that because you had people in there chopping these films to hell, cutting out connective tissue pieces. Like it's just weird the way they handled it. Like they shot themselves in the foot, Dalton, like you said. And we can only hope we could only hope for we can only hope for we can only hope for better. Honestly, I'm excited for Superman. I'm excited to see where this new DCU is going.
I'm willing to give James Gunn the benefit of the doubt and like check out what he's gonna do, because it can't be worse than whatever nonsense Walter Hamada was trying to cook up.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm giving. Like, I'm also giving James Gunn a chance because I want to see where this leads. And I said, if James Gunn's blows my socks off, then obviously I'm going to give him a chance.
You want him to blow till your socks come off?
I was thinking the same thing.
No, it's a metaphor. So
I know.
Yeah. So I was blown away with.
They said Blue Beetle is the animated series is supposed to start production next year. Yeah. So that's another moving piece in the greater DCU. I'm excited. Like, the first big Superman film, they've kept Superman primarily on the small screen for the past couple of years. Not that was a bad thing, because Superman and Lois, Tyler Hoechlin, you did an amazing job, especially for somebody who didn't go in with any expectations of playing Superman for 8 years. So like he did an amazing job for what they allowed the character to do. I mean, they gave us one of the better adaptations of the Death of Superman storyline. Like honestly, yeah, we're used to him dying at the hands of Doomsday in a battle, but like getting his heart scooped out, I did not expect that. I did not expect to see a gaping hole in Tyler Hoechlin's chest. Like, no.
Yeah, I think it was handled relatively well, all things considered. It was a very interesting take on the Death of Superman. You didn't need an entire universe of characters like carrying out a casket or whatever. It was very personal. It was very like family driven. Like Lance said, he literally Doomsday rips out his fucking heart.
What did they say Clark was? Like, I forget. Like, what did they say happened to Clark? Did they say he was like where did they say he went to, like, the townspeople?
I don't think they did. I don't think they ever addressed it.
Yeah, I don't think they did.
No.
So if he would have stayed dead.
Well, I mean, some people saw him.
Well,
right?
yes, people, that was the crazy part. Like, that was the part I did not expect that. And honestly, that would have been, me, I would have nitpicked. Like, oh, this big old monster just lands in the middle of town and nobody comes outside.
Lana was like, they're good friends with Superman. It's like, bullshit.
Yeah,
are you sure about that?
But no, that was really good. So I'm excited to see, come, like, you can have your preferences for what you like with these characters, but like I said, it's no need for body shaming. David is giving, just for, I don't know if Phil liked the line, but I like the line when he's talking to the kaiju and he's like, "Hey buddy, eyes up here," because he's trying to lead him out of the city.
Wasn't a fan.
You wasn't? What did you want him to say?
I don't
get
really
over here, bitch. Like,
no. I talked about this with my buddy Chris on my racing episode. Of
Stop calling Chris your buddy. We're your only friends. Jesus.
Wow. Holy shit. Okay, if you want to be on the show, just let me know, Lance. Jesus Christ.
Okay.
No, I was talking to my friend Chris about this last night, and I don't know that I really just like a quip heavy Superman. I kind of like I like a Superman that's like, when he's about to deliver someone a final blow, that's when he should say something fucking smart and witty. But I don't know, I didn't have a problem with the delivery so much as like the presentation. I also thought the scene itself just looked kind of janky. But again, like I'm just not.
I keep seeing people say they have an issue. I don't see it.
Maybe okay. How big was the screen? Did you watch the trailer on?
I was watching it on my phone.
Try watching it on a bigger screen, like your TV or something, because like there's a little bit of inconsistency with the face and the body, just a little bit. If you pay close enough attention. So it's like
that's something that, but if that's something that they could fix in post.
Sure, yeah. And I think it probably may even look better on a big screen. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, like the more I've thought about it, the more I think about that scene in particular. I'm just like, yeah, I don't really like a talky Superman during a fight. I'd actually rather him just like throw down and fucking whoop ass and then save the one-liners for, last blow. But that's just me. Nothing too out of the ordinary. I'm sure someone will spin that. Philip hates James Gunn's Superman.
No, I find it hilarious that like the one guy does help him, but like he broke a water main in the street, so like his suit is covered in like sewer water now, so it probably smells terrible. But the guy still helped him. I love that. I love that he's like more. I love that this Superman is more down to earth. It reminds me of what they did with Tyler, like how like in the first season when Tyler was like plummeting to earth, and he caught himself just as he was about to like basically kill somebody in a car, because he would have crushed that and exploded that man into a million tiny pieces, and he like stopped, and the guy was still looking at him, and he just like waved and smiled and like just flew off. Like I love those moments, and honestly, we were gonna get those moments with we're gonna get those moments with Henry Cavill Superman, because why? It was a building story arc. He was learning. Like he was learning how to do, like he was learning how to be a better hero. The movies were gonna gradually get, you know, brighter and brighter and brighter, if you get what I mean. Like I always felt that way, especially with how he was acting at the end of the Snyder Cut. Like that was classic Supes all day, in my opinion. But then you get the weirdos like Lightning Bolt said, like Aaron Fisher, who tend to forget the fact that Henry Cavill was getting. So were they going to turn on Henry if they kept writing him to be a more brighter and more hopeful hero? Like, were they going to turn on him?
Tough to say. I mean,